Right, this is where we left the last video. I was putting the holes in. We've now got the holes top and bottom. Now what I've got to do is I'm going to put the dividing head on here, and I want to be able to hold this so I can rotate it to turn the outside features and get these angles on here. I was going to do it on the rotary table, which would be nice, but I haven't got a bit long enough to do the whole side, and what will happen, I think, is if I do get a bigger bit, it's just going to chatter. It's not going to work very well. But anyway, I'm going to try this on the dividing head. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. But what I need to do is get a mander. Now I've got this piece of brass I'm going to make the cylinder liner out of this piece of brass. So what I'm going to do is turn the OD of the brass down, press fit it into there, use the brass as a mandrel so that I can do the outside features on here, and then what I'll do is I'll drill and mill the centre out to form the bore. The brass will be in there, and then I've just got to form the bore inside the brass, and that'll be the cylinder lined and everything. It'll all be done in one sort of procedure then. Otherwise I've got to make up a separate mandrel to do that. But if the brass has got to go in there anyway, then I might as well turn that down and put that in to start with. So that's my next plan. Well, it's not my next plan. My next plan is to fix the mill. I don't know if you can hear this. Some rattling coming from inside the gearbox. So I need to find out what that is. So the next project will be stripping the mill down to find out where that rattle's coming from. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but there's a rattle coming from inside the gearbox of the mill. So I'm going to have to strip that down, have a look at that, see if I can find out where that rattle's coming from, do any necessary repairs before I continue, I think, because I've got a lot of mill work to do, and I can't have that. The teeth on this drive, for some reason in this position, I think it might have been when I overloaded it the other day trying to use a 16mm drill bit. The teeth seem to have deformed anyway. So I've contacted the manufacturer, well, not the manufacturer, I've contacted the supplier to see if they've got a spare, and fortunately they have got one in stock, so that'll be on its way to me, and I'll be able to get that fixed fairly quick. Right, let's get this bit of brass set up. Spinning quite nicely. Right, I think I'll probably put some tail support on there, but I'll just get it faced off first. Bugger. What the hell's up with that? Come on. I'll put some glue around the mandrel as well. Right, that should hold it. Right, I'll leave that for a few days now. Okay, we've now got a mandrel on there, and eventually I'll machine this centre out to form the bore. That's going to need a few days to dry anyway. Right, we've got a bit of a tricky one today. I've got to machine the flats, which are these pieces, onto here. Also I've got to do the radius, which is on there. This isn't the correct radius at the moment, so I've got to machine the flats, do the radius. I've modelled it up so that I can get the angle, which is 105. Also what I've got to do is form this feature that goes round there. I may have said in a previous video that I'm altering it slightly. I'm going to bring it in a slightly greater dimension so that you don't see the backs of these holes poking through when I rebate round here. I don't want to see these holes poking through into the feature, but if I've calculated it wrong then they will, but hopefully I can do the small feature in the middle without interfering with that. Now my choice of setup for doing this, it's going to be the dividing head. So I'm going to go over, get it set up in the mill on the dividing head and see how that works out. Right, just going to get this indicated in so we've got some kind of reference surface. That's within 1/1000th of a millimetre. It's going to go the other way now. Right, that's 0 there. That's dipping down, so I need to bring that up slightly that way. Okay. So let's just check that. Yep, within 1/1000th. Going that way. We're within 1/1000th. So we're level on the plane. So now we need to rotate that 45 degrees. Alright, that's within 1/1000th. That's okay for this. That's good. I've now got it trammed in so I can set up the first angle to do the first cut. Alright. So we're 0 flat there. Right, it's taken me about an hour to get this set up sorted, but anyway I can now mill the flats on this side and this side. They are these flats here on the drawing, and then I'll have a go at the radius. Yeah, so let's get them done. Right, that's that face milled down. So now I've got to turn it 75 degrees the other way and mill the other face. Okay, so it's 75 degrees the other way now. So now I can mill off that flat. But I don't need to film that because I've already filmed the other side. I've got to set the cutter now to cut a 26 millimeter radius on this shape here. I know that this is 16 millimeters. Well, it's actually 16 and a half. This is 16 and a half millimeter radius of this brass. So if I touch off the cutter on here and then go up 9.5 on the DRO, that will give me a 26 millimeter radius, which is what I need to cut this. So that's how I'm going to set the cutter height up to cut the radius. Right, I've zeroed the DRO at 9.5, which looks pretty spot on for that actually, because that's 26 millimeter radius as well. Right, I've got it set up. I've zeroed the DRO at 26 millimeter radius. It's now showing 4 millimeters 0.12, which means I've got 4.12 millimeters to come off of the radius at this point, but not so much that point. Let me try and explain that. Because at this point now, the stock, yeah, that's a better drawing. This is what I'm trying to do. See, at this point I've cut that off, so we're about here now. So that little chunk there has gone. We're about here. So I've got more to take off of this section than here, because at the center of the radius, or the top of the radius, I don't know what you call that, but anyway, you can see where I'm pointing. There's a little sort of wedge shaped piece to come out both sides to get us down, because at this point here we're almost at 26, because that's what we turned it down to originally. Well, I managed to record, I managed to cut all of this centre out. I forgot to press the record button on the camera, but hey ho, that doesn't matter. It's not a brilliant cut because of how I'm having to do it. You've got to remember it's only cutting basically with the very tip. I cut the centre out with a 6mm cutter, but I'm going to go around all of this with a piece of emery and clean it all up by hand. That's about the only way I can do that, I think, and also with the outside. But anyway, that said, it's not turned out too bad. I'm quite happy with that. Let's get it out of the chuck. Let's make sure I've got nothing else to do in the chuck first. Right, that's all of the shaping done in the chuck, so I can just take that out now. Let me get a key. In fact, I can break this whole setup down. Despite it taking me an hour to put it on there, but anyway. I think it's only a feature. I don't think it serves any purpose, and of course now we've got the correct shape, we're good to go. I can now go back over to the lathe and cut the centre out of this, and we can start putting the holes in for the ports, which go in here, obviously, both ends, and all connect up. So, yeah. Let's get over to the lathe. Right, I'm not sure how this is going to spin up. Obviously, it's going to be out of balance. I don't want to get it too hot because I'll end up melting the glue that's holding this piece on. Not that that's the end of the world if it comes loose, as long as it doesn't come off. But anyway, let's get it drilled out and milled out and bored out, and then we can do the next phase. Actually, I need to swap this out. I need to put that in the forge or and indicate that in, I think, to get it right. That's not too bad. It's got that drilled out now. We're up to 20mm. That's got to be 22. Sorry, that's got to be bored out to 24mm. So we're up to 20. So a couple more millimeters off there, and we'll have our bore nicely set up. Fingers crossed. Perfect. Right, cut it off on the bandsaw. I'm just going to get it set up in the mill now and just face it off. basics. Okay, we've got the cylinder liner in now. I'll just hone that out a little bit once I make the piston. Just got to deburr all of this, clean it all up and put the ports in. I've managed to clean it up a little bit. The only thing is I did overshoot in a couple of places, but you know, it's okay. It is what it is. I'm not gonna remake the piece because of that. So anyway, it's turning out quite well. So now we can get on, get the ports in, and then the cylinder will be finished. That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. I would also appreciate it if you would click the subscribe button, because that will enable me to grow the channel so that I can keep making these videos. Please leave a comment or a question. I do read all of the comments and reply to as many as I can. Thanks for watching.